Yo, yo, yo. So, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast game. Uh, I've been gone for a while. It's been 2 weeks since the last episode, but hopefully, you came back to the previous episodes. You learned the lessons that I wanted to teach you, and especially you conditioned yourself to remember them because this is not only about me repeating stuff here, but it's about you implementing this stuff in your life as well. Now, I have two attributes of a late night podcaster this time. First of all, the cozy setup, right? But I also have my blue blockers on and I have a water bottle situated right here nicely for my throat for hydration. And this episode is going to be a little bit all over the place. I will give you an update on what's been going on. And also, I will teach you some lessons that I've learned in the last couple of weeks. Lessons that have really transformed the way I view my life, I view reality, and I also view certain decisions. Now, without any further ado, what has happened in the last 2 weeks? Well, to give you a little bit of background, this has been the hardest year in my professional life. I've been running my business for 5 years now, but this year has by far, by a mile, been the hardest one. First of all, the amount of work that I needed to do on a weekly basis was just without comparison to what I did in the past. And I've learned this saying that you think, and I say this to myself, you work hard. But in reality, what happens is you are working the hardest you've ever worked, but it might not be hard at all. Because every year that I've grown professionally and personally, I've just noticed that the amount of work that I used to do a year before looks funny to me right now. That the growth and the learning that occurs year to year, especially if you're giving it your all, is unbelievable. The things that used to take me 2 weeks, 3 weeks to complete, I can now complete in 2 days, sometimes one day. And this technically should allow me to have more free time. But what happens is when your competencies go up and you become better in what you do not start aiming lower. You start aiming higher. So, obviously, not only did I work more and worked more efficiently and got better results from it, but I also put in way more effort because the higher you go, the higher you climb the mountain of achievement, you realize how more capable you are. Because you can, like, if you are at the bottom of the mountain, you don't see the top. But the higher you go, the more visible the top becomes. And I guess that when you get to the top of the mountain, you just start seeing other mountains. So the game sort of never ends. But if you're enjoying the game, if you're enjoying the journey, then that's not a problem at all, is it? So this has been the hardest year professionally for me. The hardest meaning most challenging, not in like events that happened that were really difficult, but the especially conditions that I needed to function in and the requirements that were put upon me, the responsibilities I needed to handle. Every year I had a record number of students, my employee had a record number of students, we had a record breaking year. There was this whole content creation thing that I was doing every week, which put on like 20 hours of weekly work for me, and it's been a lot. So this is sort of background, and I love working hard. I love pursuing hard projects. I love developing and growing. But especially in the last 2 months, which was May, June, July, I didn't feel the same enthusiasm or optimism, I guess. I wasn't at 100% or like 150% as I love to be. And I obviously wanted to take some sort of a reset, some sort of a break. And I went traveling for 2 weeks, and with minimal work. Maybe I edited a little bit, maybe I posted some quotes, I wrote some newsletters, articles, stuff like that. But really, I didn't force myself to work at all. I only did the things that I felt like I was doing. Well, not that I have to force myself to work too often, but I've given myself a free hand to do whatever I felt was enough, or whatever I felt was should be done, or I wanted to be done. And I didn't feel any force behind like organizing stuff or just overall trying to adhere to a schedule. I was just like very easygoing with it, let's say. And the first week I went to Oslo in Norway, which was unbelievable. I don't know if you've ever been to Norway, but it's a delightful country. First of all, it has this really nice mixture of landscape because you see the mountains, maybe not mountains, but like some hills with forests. There is a lot of nature combined with fjords which are sort of like lakes made from the sea. I don't know how geographically it should be described, but these beautiful water containers around the city. And you get all of that packed together. So one day you can go to the beach and look at the water, or you can go to an island because there are many islands surrounding Oslo, the city, or you can go to a park that's on a hill or in the mountains, let's say, and just look at the panorama of the city. Just unbelievable. And there were a lot of teaching experiences. So the biggest lesson I've learned on these trips, but it's more of a meta lesson about trips, not that trip specifically. I will also make some nice content about the things I learned on the trip, on stories and so on. But the thing is, what I learned is that the fourth day of a holiday is probably the most magical. So the first 2 or 3 days, first day you were all excited to get there, and it's very commute heavy, right? Because what's going on is you're flying or you're driving, you're getting to your destination, you're seeing your hotel, accommodation for the first time, whatever. Second day, you're still exploring a little bit and so on. And I think that the third day is the one where you are probably entering holiday mode. And day 4 is when you are totally in holiday mode. And the thoughts that you have are totally separated from the thoughts you have usually. These are not the thoughts about work or about obligations that you usually have, the normal worries of everyday life. These thoughts are more about the nature of your existence, about the way you are living. You can look at yourself from a different perspective, I would say, way more detached, way calmer. And what traveling does for you is overall, it gives you this sort of perspective, I would say. Because, wait, let me get some hydration. So, when I was younger, I didn't travel at all. Just didn't have money. Wasn't something that was in the family budget, let's say. And I remember the first time my girlfriend prepared this huge surprise for me for my birthday of going to a bigger city that was near me. And I felt so shocked that people live like this. Like, people live like this? Oh my god, this is unbelievable. Because I thought that my existence, my small town world, is all there is. And then I went to a bigger city. And I was like, oh my god, they lied to me. I didn't know this was possible. And then traveling abroad and experiencing different cultures, I always have the same experience. So, first of all, different perspective on your life. So, you go to a place and all of a sudden you see how different people function, and you start seeing yourself as the person who could live in a place like that. I went to Oslo. I'm like, yes, I could live in Oslo. I could see myself living here, creating what I am creating and pursuing my goals, right? And you also see people from a different country, how they operate, what sort of supermarkets do they go to, what do they do for their work, how do they spend their free time, all of those things that you just don't get to see when you stay in one place all the time. And I would describe it as when you are working in your routine, you are very tunnel vision, narrow focused. So you're like this, like zoomed in, right? But what happens on a holiday, it's like you get to zoom this out and like widen your perspective. And when you zoom this out and you widen your perspective, and all of a sudden the problems you had before zooming out uh, maybe don't even seem like problems anymore, or you just have a completely different outlook on them, to the point where you can solve them like this instantaneously without thinking about them. And it's a benefit that I wish you have as well in your life. So, the ability to go to a different place, the ability to experience different cultures, the ability to just enjoy what's possible. Because we probably live in the best time ever for opportunities, travel, trips, and discovering just everything, right? 200 years ago, it wasn't possible. 100 years ago, it wasn't possible. And by the way, in all human history, it wasn't possible before. Only now is it possible. So why not make use of it? Why not cherish and enjoy it, right? Especially if it makes your life better. And I think that every trip makes your vision bigger. It only makes you more motivated to pursue the things that you want to pursue. And it only enables you to, it not only, it enables you to take charge and pursue your goals with twice the intensity, because you just experience what your life could look like every day, right? And it's something unbelievable. So, went to Oslo, Norway for 5 days. This podcast is going to be all over the place, by the way. You're in up for it, right? That's why you're listening, to learn some lessons and listen to me. Give you the thoughts and ideas that I wish I had when I was younger. And when I was there, one of the biggest things I've noticed is how organized, clean, and wealthy Norway is. And what shocked me, I would say the most positively, I would say, is how cohesive all the buildings were. Because when I went to Milan, for example, the city center of Milan was unbelievable, just outstanding and remarkable. But if you went outside into the other districts, the outskirts of the city, it didn't have the same energy, it didn't have the same vibe. So there's like, and I think this happens in most European cities. The same thing happened when I was in Spain. And the same thing happens basically in every country I have visited. But in Norway, they had this cohesive structure to their architecture, and I thought about my life in that context. That I don't want my life to be like this, only one element that's really nice, like the city center, but the outskirts are terrible. I want full cohesion. Everything is right from the top to the bottom, from the beginning to the end. Because I believe that there is a lot of value in that. And that's not saying that there isn't some place for chaos and spontaneity. I actually enjoyed a lot of chaos and spontaneity in those 2 weeks, and I think they're also valuable because they fuel that creative power that you have, that creative spirit. But yeah, I mean the just overall how architecture always looked right, how it looked like everything had its place, and that it was constructed with intention, with purpose. It was crafted. It wasn't chosen by accident. And there was no being cheap with architecture. The architecture everywhere was upscale, high end, luxurious, quality, high value, right? So this is a comparison that I had in my life. And I also have many other crazy stories, but yeah, that's what has happened 2 weeks ago. So trip to Norway, and really just letting go a little bit. So I was chilling, I was relaxing, going for some food, going for walks, just discovering and enjoying my success. And this is something that I honestly needed because I gave you the background of the hardest professional year in my life. Uh, I felt like I deserved it. So there was no feelings of guilty while I was on the trip because I knew that I earned it, that I put in 70 plus hours every week for 52 weeks, right? I knew that I was pushing it really hard and I was proud of myself for it. And when I was proud of myself for it, when I wanted to enjoy it, there was no guilt because why would I be guilty? I earned it, right? You only feel guilty if you spend money when you feel like you didn't earn it. But when you earn it, there is no guilt. And what I'm also trying to tell you is the money comes back so fast because I don't think this is like splurging and buying shoes or something like that. Of course, if you love luxury shoes, do your own thing. But investing into experiences, it's a cheat code. Oh my god. Because not only does it, first of all, give you that relaxation bit, and of course, turning off, told you about that fourth day, but also, it gives you that like vision, and I feel like that vision is priceless, and it's what a lot of people lack. It's why they will never be able to build the life that they want because they don't have the vision that's necessary to build the life that they want. And I wrote this short text, and I finished by writing, small town thinking builds a small town life. If you've only lived in a small town, you've never experienced a big city and the energy of a big city, poor you. Because I don't think you're capable of building a life that's the highest quality possible, just because you are limited and your perspective is limited. Fortunately, it's not that hard. You can still go on that trip. You can still visit that city you've always wanted to visit, even if you've had zero experience when you were younger, like I did. I had zero experience when I was younger with traveling. It wasn't even something that I considered, honestly. And I felt a little bit insecure when I was talking to other people who have visited a lot of countries. I felt like I was a little bit ignorant, a little bit also like I wanted to hide something because, well, it's not easy to speak to someone who has visited 50, I don't know, 20 countries and they go traveling every year, every 3 months, and you've never been anywhere. It's just like, it's not a nice conversation to be in, right? Because uh, you feel a little bit inferior. There's no reason you should, but you do, right? Because uh, maybe you feel a little bit envy, or maybe you feel a little bit just sad and disappointed. So yeah, this was something that I wish for you: the ability to travel freely, the ability to have financial freedom to travel freely, but also the confidence with my language skills and my language abilities. Uh, I don't worry about anything traveling, honestly. If you know English perfectly and you can communicate in any situation, traveling is so much fun. So yeah, I really wish it for you. Now, coming back to the story, first week, come back from Norway. The flight home is always not the same as the flight to the destination. I'm sure you know this. Going on holiday and coming back from the holiday, they don't have the same energy, because when you're coming back, you're always like, oh, this is it, this is over. When you go in there is all this excitement. It's like going on holiday is 23rd of December, right before Christmas. You're like, yes, tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Whereas coming back from the holiday is like, I guess, Boxing Day. So second Christmas Day in Poland, we say 26th of December, right? And you're like, you're going to work tomorrow. So you're technically sitting at the Christmas table, but you're not. You're at work mentally already. So came back and drove home. Nice life hack for all of you travelers out there. I know if there's that many of you. I hope there's many of you. But when you're coming back, get yourself some nice snacks to the car. Eat some nice snacks, right? Then next day, come back on the diet. Be strict. Eat clean. But when you're coming back, you need to give yourself a little boost. And that boost can have let's say, it can have the form of chocolates, jelly, nuts, crisps, whatever. Don't go crazy, right? Control yourself. But give yourself something so that you are rewarded, at least for coming back. At least this has been my experience, and it made the bitter sweets, the bittersweet comebacks a little bit more sweet than bitter. And now after that, immediately I had like a 1 day break, and I went on a trip to Warsaw, which is capital city of the country where I live. So Poland, another big city also. As you can see, there's a trend, right? Visiting big cities. No, but in all seriousness, this is a trip that I'm looking forward to every year. I go visit my childhood best friend in Warsaw. He lives there, and we're just having the time of our lives. There's also something that, and I was talking to one of my customers, and she said this thing to me. She said, well, because I told her that I was going to Warsaw and so on, and she said, what do you feel when you go there? And I said that it's probably one of the best weeks in my year. And she said this interesting thing that stuck with me, sort of, because she said that, well, I understand, because this is the only week where you can live like the amount of age that you are right now, right? So, like you are 23, because you live like someone who's 35. And I had this one like, she gets it. Yeah, definitely, right? Like a hammer blow that stays with you. You know, when somebody says something and it sort of stays with you and it doesn't go away and you keep thinking about it. Yeah, this was it for me. And I just sort of remembered that, I guess. But that week, just pure awesomeness and flow. That's all I have to say. Pure awesomeness and flow. Because there's nothing like having a genuine friendship with someone who you have known for like more than 18 years, probably. It's just unbelievable. It's real, it's raw. You can have very deep conversations, you can discuss problems, but there's also zero posturing, because you know each other so well that you can say almost anything, right? You can criticize your friend can criticize you. There's just back and forth, and as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend in this way. And I just turned off. The productive side of me was just sort of in the background. I did some stuff, but it was just like whenever it was convenient, or whenever I really felt like it, like, oh yeah, this might be something that I want to do, or want, and feel like it will give me a lot of enjoyment. So I did some little writing here, little posting there, little story here, little story there. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy, but it was uh, unbelievable experience. And yeah, this was the 2 weeks. And what I want to tell you, the biggest thing I took away from them before that, some water. Stay hydrated. If you have water with yourself right now, drink some water. The biggest thing I want to tell you is how fired up I came back after that break. It's unbelievable. I came back with so much enthusiasm and power and zest for life. So, if I had to calculate it, the amount of money I actually spent on the trip versus the investment I received, which is this like fire internally that's back, the ROI is infinite. It's like 1000x the money that I spent on the trip, because there is nothing like feeling that your life is like you're already living your dream life, like you are already living the life you want to live. You're not postponing it until later. You're not waiting. You're not trying to fake it, or you're not trying to tell yourself that, oh, I don't really want this. You know, when you have that thing where you want something, but you're trying to rationalize it, that, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe I don't really want it at all. And so on. None of that. And yeah, that, I mean, the actual return you get from spending lavishly on experiences, it's just a no-brainer, man. If you have money, spend it on experiences. Spend it on that trip, your life-changing trip, exciting, you've been thinking about. Spend it on a luxurious hotel that you can go to and you can feel like a first class person. Spend it on that restaurant, that upscale restaurant, the best in the city with a Michelin star. Because whatever you spend comes back to you tenfold. You get 10 times the return on the investment. But what isn't discussed is, I think, also how much it teaches you. Like the amount of lessons and thoughts I've had in the last 2 weeks, original thoughts, and just overall reflections on my existence, on my content, on the way that I create, on the way that I write, on the way that I speak. Even like how I record this podcast is just unbelievable. The return is so high. And yeah, I mean, man, spend some money if you have money. If you don't have money, if you're at zero or negative, most people are at negative. If you have a huge mortgage, no savings, probably on a negative, unless you have equity. So if you are not in negative, if you're in negative, go into neutral or positive, ideally first. But if you're positive net worth meaning subtracting your assets from your liabilities, subtracting the things where you have money to the things that are taking away money from you. I will make probably a separate video on that as well. Since I posted a story on Instagram today asking what's the biggest struggle, and most people chose that it's building financial freedom. I put public speaking in English, staying healthy, building financial freedom. And last time I checked, building financial freedom was tied with public speaking in English, which was very surprising to me, since most of my past content was only about English. But you see, well, most people learn English to earn more, so maybe that makes sense. But if you're positive net worth, go on this trip, journey, travel, man. Spend some of the money. It will come back to you tenfold. I promise you. No reason to feel scared, because you deserve it. You've earned it. And there is nothing stopping you from living your dream life today. Because when you postpone your life to later, you become the type of person who postpones their life until later. And later, let's be honest, it's usually never. So if you're somebody who's waiting to get in shape, waiting to learn English, waiting to start a business, waiting to go on this trip, you just become a person who waits. You don't become the person who does things. You become the person who just sort of like postpones their life until later. And I don't know about you, that's not me. I want to live the fullest life possible. The existence that we have is so short, no point in wasting time and in being, waiting for the better time or less busy time or whatever better financial situation. Get out of here, right? Just coping and trying to rationalize a bad situation or your fear. Now, this is what's been going on in my life. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to this little rant. Regular podcasts are back. Current schedule, 1 podcast per week, confirmed. If I will have more inspiration and if I feel like I have something valuable that I want to teach you, we'll do 2 podcasts, 3 podcasts per week. There are no limits for me, as you know, and I want there to be no limits for you as well. And thank you for listening to me in my tank top in the evening. It's, by the way, 9:55 p.m. My bedtime is almost coming up. I was wearing blue blockers today. I was drinking some nice water, and I was speaking to you. Now, subscribe for more content. If you haven't rated my podcast on Spotify and you've listened this far, what are you doing, man? Come on, subscribe, rate the podcast, and more fire coming from your boy. Wait up. See you.